Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in this today's video, we are going to complete the Auth series by actually using the token. In the last video, if you haven't seen my part 7 video where I have explained you about how do we implement the JWT token and how do we make use of guards in Angular and how do we use interceptors in Angular. So all those I have completed in the last video in my part 7. Okay, and that was a live session, so where I have taken a few Q&A as well. So if you have missed that video, so go ahead and check it out. So because it is one of the important topic to cover it. Like if you're an Angular developer, that you must know about this JWT token and stuff. So I have covered it like all the aspects, how it has to be used in every projects. All right, so now let's talk about the next part, which is regarding how do we use the token. Because in my token there was two things. First thing was my full name of the user and the role. Okay, so based on those two record, we are going to display few things in the UI. For example, if I try to log in the application, okay, let me just do it. John Doe, and the password is admin at the rate 123. And if I click on login, okay, so once the user logs in, so this is what we have come in the last part. So what we need to do is we need to display here a nav bar, and on the nav bar we want to show like who is the user, who is the username. So because I have seen a lot of people asking me on my Telegram channel on and also now on Instagram as well that hey Shashi, how do we do it, like how do we store the username of the user on the nav bar. Okay, so we can do it by using the values which we have got from the token, because the token we have a payload. Inside that we can store this username. So from there we will retrieve this and we will try to display it on the UI. Okay, so let me just open up the navbar side of the project. So if you just go here, so in the component, in the dashboard, in the HTML, so this is what we have created. Okay, let me remove everything and let me make use of bootstrap, because we are already using bootstrap, so we can make use of bootstrap navbar. So let's go here and let's go on this website bootstrap, search for the doc which is navbar. Okay, and you can choose anyone, any you can choose. So I will go with this one maybe, so that on the right hand side I can display the name of the user like that. Okay, so I'll just copy this and let's go in your navbar and let's paste it, and now let's save it and let's check if this works or not. Okay, so now here, no, this one. So if you go on the Angular auth, so I have my navbar ready, and in this navbar I want to display the username. So let me just remove this thing, because here I want to display the username, whoever has logged into my application. So I will remove this guy from here, and here I will have my div with my name. So I'll just put here as h4, and I'll put here as she for now. Okay, let me save these changes and let me go on the browser. So yes, that's what it is. So I can just say hello, whoever is my user. Okay, hello Shashi. So this is currently static. Okay, so we have to make this as dynamic, so we will try to do it. And this is our application Angular auth. Okay, now so this is what we have. So now if you remember, right, so whenever we are login is success, so we are storing the token. So if you go in the application, go in the local storage. So here you can see we have this token, and let me copy this token and let me go on this website which I have opened, this one, and let me paste this token. If you see here, right, so we have the name John Doe and we have the role which is user. Okay, so these two record we have to use to do something on the UI side. Okay, so first thing is we need to display this thing. So let's see how we can implement that. Okay, so for that I will be creating a service. I will create a service in Angular, and the name of the service will be user store. Okay, so let me create a service. My service name is store, or maybe I'll say user store. Okay, So this is one of the important topic, guys, because I will be using something called as behavior subject, and people think this is a very difficult topic to understand, behavior subject. So I'll try to explain it in detail how things works in behavior subject, because it is coming from RxJS, which helps you to store your data and we can subscribe it, something like that. So I'll just show you and then maybe I can demonstrate, or maybe we can create our own definition out of it, okay, by actually practically doing it. All right, so we have a user store service. Okay, so in this user store service, we are going to create, we are going to call that service in our like wherever we want to use the service, right? We can just call it directly. So I need to store two things. First is full name, and the second one is my role. Okay, so I'll create a property private, and I'll say this as full name with a dollar sign. Full name with a dollar sign. Because why? Because this is my observable. So I'll say new behavior subject. Okay, and this is of type string. We need to give type as string. Okay, so in behavior subject we need to initialize a value, or else it will throw error. It will say that expected one argument but got 0, which means we need to initialize a value. So my current value will be empty for full name. Same thing I will do for role. So I'll say private role behavior subject. Again, the type is string. Okay, so I have these two private properties. Now I will be creating a getter and setter for this. Okay, so first thing is I want to set the role, and the another thing is I want to get the roles. Okay, so first thing I'll do here is get roles. So let's create a private method here. Oh no, not a private, a public method, because this has to be exposed to all the components. So I'll say public get roles from just a role. So get role from store. Okay, and what this guy will do, this will do nothing. This will just try to send this as observable. So we can say as return this dot role dot as observable. Okay, so whenever who will set the data for this role, so he can get it. So we have a getter ready, so let's try to set it. So we can say public set role for store. Okay, what how we can set it, we can say this dot store, which is your role, dot next. Okay, and in the next we can get a value from this method. So we can say role of type string, and we can pass this role. Okay, so this is my getter and this is my setter. So I'm setting the role, and whenever I set the role, if someone is subscribing to my get role from store, they will receive the value. That's how it is. Okay, same thing I need to create for full name as well. So let's do it. So I'll say public get full name from store. Again, this dot full name dot as observable. So I'm creating a observable here. So this is a stream. Observable is nothing but a stream of data. So I'm creating a stream of data from here, which will consist of my full name. Okay, full name. And I will have to say set as well. So I'll say public set full name for store. Set full name for store. I'm giving some weird name, but it's okay. Now we can just say here, oh, this has to be written. Okay, I missed it. So this has to be written, and this one we have to say this dot full name dot next, and people can pass here. Whenever people will set this, call this method to set, they will pass the parameter called as full name of type string, and that has to be sent inside this. So I can say here full name. So in this way our getter and setter is ready. Okay, now we need a very important thing, which is a package. Why a package? Because we need to decrypt the token, correct? So for decrypting the token we need to install a package. Okay, so the package is JWT. So to whenever we need to call that particular token to decrypt, so there is something called as auth angular JWT. So let's go on the browser and let's try to download it. Okay, so you need to install this package called as auth JWT, Angular JWT. Okay, so just copy this and go in your terminal open up this and just paste this and hit enter. Okay, so it will take some time to install this package. And why I'm installing it, I have told you that we need to decrypt the token. So this guy will help us to decrypt it. Okay, all right, let it get installed. Yeah, this is installed successfully. We can confirm it via checking here. So can you see in the package.json we have this reference which is installed, the version. Okay, now let's go in your auth service. Okay, so in the auth service we are going to create few methods, and that method will help you to decrypt the token. Okay, so the first thing is we need to import. So let's go on the top and just say import from the package what we have installed, which is at the rate auth 0 slash angular hyphen JWT. So we need to import JWT helper service. So this is JWT helper service. Okay, so this guy will help us to decode the token. Okay, so what we will do is we will create a method called as decode token. So let's create the method decode token, and this guy will return something. This guy will return something. Okay, or I'll say decoded token. Okay, so now what I will do is I'll just say here const JWT helper is equals to new JWT helper, so the service what we have imported. Okay, and now this guy can be used. So now what we will do is now we can just say return. We'll say JWT helper, okay, dot decode token. But where is my token? My token is in local storage. So let's try to use this method. Const token is equals to this dot get token. Okay, and now we can pass this token to get decoded. Okay, we can just say exclamation because it can be undefined. Okay, so now in this way we can decode the token here. So this guy will return the decoded token here. If you want to see, I can show you as well. So I can just do a console.log and I can just copy this guy. Okay, now how we will be using this decoded token, let me tell you that. So what we can do is we can create a payload. Okay, because this guy will return the payload what we are getting. So can you see this payload data? This is what it will be written by the JWT helper service what we have used to decode. Okay, now what we will do is we will create a payload, a private method. Let's go here, let's declare the method, sorry, the property user payload, and let's give it type for now any. And now what we can do is we can just initialize it in the constructor. We can say this dot user payload is equals to this dot decoded token. So this token decoded token method will send the payload data. And how does our payload data will look like? It will look like something like this object. Okay, that's what it is. And now what we can do, we can, as you know guys know, right, we have two things in the payload, our name as well as our role. Okay, so those two record we can get. Okay, so for getting it, what we will do is we'll create another two methods to get the username from payload. So we'll say here get full name from token, and there will be one more method called as get role from token. So previously it was from store and this one is from token. So I'll say here if this dot user payload, then what we can do, we can say return what, this dot user payload, this dot user payload dot name. Okay, and for the token role it is same. And if this dot user payload is there, then I can say return this dot user payload dot role. That's it. So in this way we have created two ways to get our full name and role. Okay, so why we have created the service, you will come to know why. Because whenever people do refresh, right, so this observable get empty, and our role will get like discarded, or it will be get empty again. So what we can do, we can persist the data by taking it from the local storage. Okay, so that's how we will do. All right, now let's go in your dashboard. Okay, because the dashboard component we are going to use it, because there we are going to call all this method whatever we have created. Okay, so we have two things here, so let's go here, and yeah, we are going to use this property my name, or let's change it to full name. Okay, and this will be empty. All right, and now let me remove this unnecessary code. Yep. Okay, so now what we can do is we can initialize the value. Correct, we can initialize the value. So what we will do, we'll just try to get the store service. So store, or maybe user store. User store is of type user store service, what we have created. Okay, so now what I can do is I can just say here in the ng on init, this dot user store dot dot get full name from token. And as I have told you, right, this is an observable, so we can subscribe this. We can say dot subscribe, and this will return a string of a simple string which is your full name whenever user have set it. So what we can do here, we can just say this dot full name equals to what, response, sorry, the value. Or we can also try to get it from auth service. For example, I can get it from auth service as well. For example, let full name full name from token. I can say this dot auth dot get full name from token. So we can make use of or here, and we can say full name from token. So in this way, now you will ask me why I have did this guy, like why I have added these two things. Because I want it to be instant. Like whenever I store the username in local storage, so it is not instant. When we refresh, then it will fetch me the full name. So I don't want to do that. First I will store it in the observable. First, whenever the first time the full name will be shown, it will be shown via observable. But if you refresh the page, right, so the observable will be empty, and now we will get the full name from the token, which is your this method. Okay, and this full name I will be using it in the HTML. So I can just remove this guy, and I can put it like this. Let's save it and let's check. Let's move everything. Okay, so I can see hello user. Okay, let's see. Let's go on the login page again. Okay, let's log in by John. John 30. Password is admin@123. If I log in, okay, something went wrong. Let me check what is wrong. Let's go in the console. If I try to again log in, and let's see what we have. So can you see our password is incorrect? Okay, so that's why it throws a something went wrong. So let me just change it to admin@123. Now click on login. Now the login is success, and I can see it is showing hello user. Okay, so let's see why is it user, because this should show you the full name, which is John Doe, correct? So I think I have accidentally used token exactly. So this has to be get full name, not role. Now save it, and now go on the browser and verify. So I can see hello John Doe. If you try to access it by some different name, then you will get different name. So this record I'm getting it from the database. Okay, so whoever logs in, so his name is getting displayed here. Okay, So now we have successfully completed how we can make use of the token payload and we can display the full name. So now the second part of the video is that how we can make use of role. Okay, because we need to make use of role as well. So based on the role, I want to hide and show few things. For example, if you see in my database, so I have few users, like 4 users, and out of which user ID 7 is an admin. Okay, if he's an admin, so I want to display the list of users. If he's not an admin, then I would just want to display hi, you are user. That's it. So something like that I will be doing in term by using the roles. All right. So now let me just do a small demo to because I need to log in via this user now, admin. So let's see. Let's go here and let's log out. And here I'll say admin @123 and password. I'll click on login. Can you see? I have logged in via admin, but I can see there is an issue that I just still see the username. If you just go on the database, so this is my John Doe for by which I have logged in previously, and the name is not refreshing. If I refresh the browser, then I can see the admin name is displayed here. So that's a problem, correct? So we are going to solve this issue. Let's see what is the issue in our code. All right, so let's go in your login component. And in the login component, okay, so we are not setting the store, right? Because we have created the stores. Let me show you here. We have the stores, right? We are just using the get and get. Now we need to set these two values, right? So these two values we can set via setters, what we have created, these two methods. So let's go in the login component.ts, and here we can call the payload. We can say let token payload equals this dot auth dot decoded token. Okay, so this decoded token will get. So now what we can say is we can say this dot user store. So we need to inject the user store service. So let's go in the login component and you need to inject the service private user store and the service name user store. Okay, so inject this in the constructor of your login component, and now you can just say this dot user store dot set full name, and I can say here token payload dot name. Okay, and same thing we'll do for the role. So we say this dot store dot set role for store, and we can just say here take token payload dot role. Okay, and guys, you can change it to const because we are not reassigning the value again. So we can, it's a good coding standard to make use of const here. So that's how we trying to make our code also like good, which I will be taking one session like how we can follow the good coding practices. So I will take one small video about that as well. I'll talk about it how we can improve the same project. Okay, because I haven't used good things, like for example I'm using any everywhere. So now we will not be using any, so we'll do all the refactoring in a single video. Okay, so wait for that video. All right, so now here if you see, right, by this week we are setting the full name and the role of the token, role of the user. So if I save it now, and now let's do the same thing. Now this is Shashi, which is correct. Now again let me log out and let me log in via user, which is John Doe. Can you see? Now I am able to see the same name, which is the user. So now this is, now we don't need to refresh the page, so this will get set automatically. Okay, because we are setting the store. All right, now let's try to jump about how we can make use of the things what I was just saying. Like I want to display the list of users. So I have already a code snippet with me where I will be using the code snippet. And if you want that code, so you can be, so I will be sharing my source code with my members because I have like 2 3 members already for my YouTube channel. So for them it will be free. And I also have my Patreon link also. If you want the source code, you can become my member and you can get access of this code, and you can use this code in your project or wherever you want. I am allowing it. Okay, so that you can do. So if you want the code, just become the member and do let me know via Telegram, or you can also DM me on Instagram so that I can share the drive link also if you want. All right. So this is about it. So I will be just adding up my code snippet for the home page so that this home page should look good. The dashboard page should look good. All right. So this is how the code of dashboard looks like. So we don't have that much time to explain each and every line. So I have directly pasted the code. Okay. And let's try to see how does it looks on the UI. Okay, so this is how our UI looks like. Okay, so we have here hello, the username. So let me try to improve this a bit because this should be highlighted, right? Because he is the user. So let me highlight this by using h3 tag. Yeah, let's save them, and now let's see on the browser. Okay, so this is look good. So hello, this is the username, and here we have the search functionality which I will be adding, and we have a sign out button. If I click here, so I am sign out, and if I again need to log in, I can do it by this. Okay, and that's how we can do it. Now I can see the name again. So now, but now what I need to do is, if you are a user, right? If you are a user, if someone is accessing via user, so he should not see all this sidebar. He should not see the sidebar. Okay, he should only see this dashboard for the employee list. That's it. He should only see the employee list. He should not see the sidebar. Okay, so that we can make use of it via the service what we have created. Okay, so for example, if this is admin, so he can see everything. Correct, so we have this all thing visible here. All right, let's see here. If I try to log in via the user now, so for that I will be using the service. For example, this is my header which is accessible. This is my container fluid with inside which I have the sidebar menu. Okay, so this is my sidebar. If I just try to comment this code and I just show you on the UI, can you see the sidebar is empty now, which means I don't want to show this sidebar if you have logged in via user. Okay, but this is not good, so let me just do Control Z, and here I will be having a ng container. So in this code I will be having ng container, and I'll say star ng if, and I'll say this as false for now. Okay, and now let's see, it's the same behavior. Still I cannot see, but if I make it as true, if I make this value as true, then I can access it, then I can see it. Okay, so this is what we need to do is, so but if you know, right, whenever we are logged in we are getting the value. Okay, so the same thing we can do it here in this again in the dashboard component in the ng on init. We will make use of the store. We'll say this dot user store dot get role from store, and we can subscribe the value, and here we can just do the same thing. We can say let role from token. This we can get via this dot auth dot get role from token. Okay, and now we can say let's create a property called as role. So this will be public role of type string, and this will be blank, or we can remove this, or we can just keep it as undefined just by adding the slash. Okay, and now we can just say this dot role is equals to your value or role from token. Okay, again if we are not reinitializing the value, we are like changing the value, modifying the value, we can use const. Okay, it's good practice to use a const. All right, so now we can save it, and now this role we can check here. So this condition we can check if the role is equal to your admin. If the role is equal to your admin, then only you need to show this. Then only you need to show this. Okay, is Shashi is the admin? Yes, he is an admin. See, in the database, he is admin. But now if I log in via John Doe, so let's see what happens. Sign out. Now I go here, I say John 30, and the password I put. If I click on login, can you see now? Now I cannot see the sidebar. I can only see the dashboard. And that's how you can make use of the role. That's how the role is very important to hide and show few things on the UI side. Okay, so this in this way you can make use of full name to display it on the header, and you can make use of your role to hide and show few things on the dashboard. So in this way, we have completed this video about how we can make use of role and full name from token, and we can do some thing on the UI side, which is mostly to display the full name on the header and make use of role to hide the sidebar. Okay, if you have any question related to this video, you can comment in you we have the comment section, right? You can just comment down and I will be surely gonna answer each and every comment. And if you have anything important to discuss, you can connect me on Telegram or Instagram as well, because now I mostly prefer Instagram to reply all my DMs. So you can just follow me there and I can help you as well. Anything related to this topic about Angular, .NET Core, React, anything you can ask me there. All right. And also, if you want the source code, you can become my member. I will be putting up the links for those things, so you can go there and become my member. So Patreon or YouTube member, both will work. If you are my member, just DM me on Instagram. I will share this code with you guys so that you can use it and you can have a look as well how I have did it. All right. All right then, till that time, bye bye guys, and keep learning.